Here we go. Let's start with a clutch, because we're not seeing a clutch all too often.
Runde beginnt in 3, 2, 1, kämpft.
There we go, he's getting the spawn beneath the heavy armor. He's not opting to snitch away one of the lights. Gets the heavy, and then they meet up top. A little bit of damage shredded, but not really anything significant. Boraicho picked up the rail and showed him that he can hit those, especially on a big target like Clutch. We might see a switch of the items. It depends on how the next few seconds are going to play out, because both of them have delayed theirs. But they decide to rather fight and not trade, and madfox uses his speed to outmaneuver the ranger here, and he will get both items most likely. The question is if he will get it rather undamaged. And, well, he got some damage of it, so the stacks are equal, which is definitely not a good situation if you're the Clutch. Because you will get hit more, basically. I mean, the moving barn door against one of more normal-sized characters. Don't even need to be tox to it. 45% LG on that guy. Or even 50. And the shield is up again, and as soon as the shield is up we see aggression, but he dashes past the little corner, and yeah, the damage traits are rather equal, but boraicho's movement gave himself another lifeline with picking up the light armor that definitely made him survive that railgun shot there. Putting up the mega health onto that, and he will get the heavy. His stack looks very strong, and madfox is kinda on the back foot here. Just picks enough health to survive another rail shot, but now he's still railable and he needs to find a way out. Luckily, the sound of the railgun didn't give him away because he had rockets out. But yeah, boraicho just looked there anyway. We got the first frag of the map. Shield is used again, but so far madfox doesn't seem to get the best value out of those. And when the shield is on cooldown, boraicho is hitting so much damage on the robot that madfox is always on the back foot. Almost a hit rail there, just before the teleporter. That would have been a money shot for him. This should have been a kill for madfox, and he misses the clutch rail though. Mega health just to save his life, and the LG is enough. 2-0. Boraicho's, building his lead more and more. Getting the heavy to his name. Normal stack now. Refreshing some ammunition, but he's still low on rockets and lightning gun, so he definitely would like to shop for that more. And this is the first frag for the clutch. Finding his enemy on the murder hole, and there was just no escape with the orb on cooldown. Good comeback from madfox. This should also mean that if he plays this right, he will be able to get both items, but he rather decides to do damage on the pickup, and he did. Nice, denying a lot of armor to his, for his enemy there, with that great placed rocket. Definitely needs to control the vials, but the steps, the sound cue definitely gave away boraicho's position there, and made madfox to not go for the light armor and the vials especially. We see another trade of the items. The offset is not huge. 3 seconds. There's barely enough time to go from one to the other. We see a huge damage output from boraicho here, who still has some armor to protect him, and madfox is basically naked, just his HP left, as the shield is on cooldown as well. Good rocket though, evens out the stacks a little bit more, but that rail matters worse for the clutch. Hitting the rail himself, madfox gave himself an opportunity, because it would have been a 50-50 gamble for boraicho to pick, so he could pick the item kinda safe. But boraicho denies him light armor after light armor, and yeah, the armor game is definitely the deciding factor when it comes to surviving like all those little skirmishes we see so far on the map. finally some armor stack up for madfox and a little bit more. Has his shield back, and he could look for some damage on the pickup. Yeah, he kind of misses the shot. Lands the follow-up though, the shield is still not used. Stacks are fairly even, which means that Ranger definitely has an advantage. Uses the shield, lands a great direct rocket, pushes in for more, and draws the game. Took a little bit of damage, if I'm honest, but not as bad as it could have been. Concerning that was a very close quarter combat fight. And he will be able to stack up on his light armors as well. Misses the direct rocket though. He has no HP, and yeah, boraicho just goes for the killing blow before picking up the armor, just increasing the value of the item a little more. And make it more comfortable for him to rotate from one to the other, because after all, he's not as fast. And now he lifts the clutch up, but the clutch comes out on top. The shield was enough to lower the damage that he could survive, but it was close. It wasn't not much, like 20 stack maximum maybe. The orb is being used again, and the nail push comes out as a brilliant idea, kind of, because it gets himself a frack. 4-3. Unholy Trinity completed for boraicho now. And he is on spot for the item. madfox could be pushing in though. He kinda is, but he's just taking damage. He basically did no damage in return, and yeah, the delay between the items is big enough that madfox has to consider leaving it. But he knocks off the Ranger and gets the frag. The dashing and all the movement just helped him so much. boraicho couldn't find the shots on madfox. But it looks like boraicho will get the heavy, and he does, because madfox retreated. Oh, he's dancing around the mega health, he's not gonna take it! 1 HP and he dashes past it. 5 frags, again, 1 frag lead. This is neck and neck so far. The scoreline is. That's crazy. boraicho's still lacking the railgun. It's definitely a good weapon. It's not only for this map, but especially against the clutch. Momentum stopping. When they will meet again at the light armor below the middle, and the shield was up. The rockets hit. The orb missed its goal. But the lightning gun doesn't. And he survives that kinda healthy. No armor left. But 175 HP is nothing to joke with as well. So madfox really needs to respect his enemy. Not after landing rails like this, though. Having no armor, he was railable after this, and there was not much that he could do. madfox charges in again, but all the damage boraicho did was basically unreturned. Oh, he almost ringed out himself there. But he self-rocketed so much damage, and the final rocket came from madfox in this fight, as he is the last saying and draws the game. Oh, he misses the rail. Both players missed actually quite a lot of rails in the pressure situation right there. But in the end, boraicho came out on top and hitting the rail after the shield went on cooler. Oh, great damage from both of them, but 2 rails in succession secure boraicho a trade. That is kind of unfortunate for madfox. Yeah, the Ranger gets bullied away from the mega though, but madfox has no health, no armor, so his health is going to get melted by that LG there. Because all of his stack he just got from the spawning and picking up the mega health was gone in an instant there. The heavy though is welcome present for the clutch. 60 seconds for 1 frag, that's definitely time, and he doesn't need to hurry all too much. He can set it up properly, especially because the orb is on cooldown for the next 30 seconds. He definitely has a window of, the time window where he can pull up the play, but he has no shield himself. Gets himself the heavy, stacks are fairly equal. And because the Ranger got all the vials, his orb is up back again, and Clutch's ability is not. And he stops moving for some reason, and madfox finishes him off. Don't know if he's lagging. Ping looks okay though. madfox is not hitting all too much himself that fight, and this health bubble is definitely... health bubble, I say. Small armor is definitely a lifeline in the fight. But boraicho misses the jump to the heavy, and... yeah, this is how it goes to end. He needs to finish him off, but he can't land the shot. He was on 4 HP. madfox, what are you doing? There we go. 1 frag difference. madfox gets away with his map choice of Deep Embrace on his clutch as well. 1-0. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend prevails in the end. Kind of heartbreaking for boraicho being in the lead for the entire game and then losing it in overtime though. That's tough. But next up is Koth, and we see boraicho on the Solak against madfox's Galena, so it's basically switched roles here. Not only in terms of champion size, but also in terms of speed, that is. Even though the Ranger had some kind of mobility. But it's comparable at least, a little bit. Oh, what a map! What a map. As for Tower of Koth, like the speed enables you to get both items more easier, especially if the mega health is spawning first. Solak's movement just gives you so many routes you can take to be fast at the heavy armor to follow it up, which the Galena is definitely lacking, so she will need a bigger offset between the item timings to make it happen for her. But yeah, first map is in the books, and boraicho definitely is now looking to win his map choice of Tower of Koth, that is. Let's go in. And also let's start with the Solak as well, and see if we can get an offset of the items right away. He might be able to get both if he smells the play. Oh, he doesn't! He doesn't! He doesn't! And madfox is delaying his one even further, so there will be even more of a delay. So now both players definitely equally have the opportunity to get both items in a rotation when they spawn the next time. Opening rail is from boraicho though, and this is a position for madfox that is not the best but not the worst as well. It definitely depends on who lands the shot, and so far it was madfox who landed more. And he could go and take the mega health. And the delay he put off throws boraicho off by a lot. And the Solak does not come out on top in this fight because he had no stack to work with. Oh, 2 rails missed. Well, someone's not happy about that. Great rockets though, and now he needs to hurry a little. It's just spawning right now. But boraicho's not aware of it. He's not even... like, he could have stole it away. But he didn't. But he will steal a heavy. madfox has the timing anyway. Oh, good rocket there. Strips away so much stack with the Solak and stops the momentum as well. I mean, the Solak was aware of madfox's position because of the humming the lightning gun does. And now with the little stack, that madfox has to work with, he definitely has to concede the item. But he lands a rail, so the stack is not all too overwhelming, because it strips all the armor out of the Solek as well. Okay, but this is the door of health right there. Like, 3 totems in one spot. So far, boraicho never looked at this spot, or even rotated there, so... The totems, could be stay up for a long time, but on the other hand, they can be removed in one strike as well. Boraicho engages in another fight, and madfox misses all the rockets, but he swapped position, and boraicho ran into 3 of the totems, which killed him in the end, but madfox definitely has not much stack to work with. That's why the spit is hurting him so much, and now all the delay between the items is gone, but madfox is in the lead with 3 frags right now. Yeah, but this is what I was referring to. Just one play removed all the totems, and now the work has to begin again. But there are a lot of vials on the map, and if he controls the heavy area, which is where all the vials are around, he should be able to get that back up very quickly. Oh, and we see a trade. I think that was kind of okay for madfox, and for both players, if I'm honest, because they both dropped equally low in that fight. We won't see another trade of the items or anything else, because both spawn on the other end of the map respectively. Yeah, exactly, the door of death. It's the door of life and death, basically. I mean, that was like 120 damage from the totems alone or something like this. Maybe even more if some of them dealt the full 60, but that was just insane. This totem will get removed rather quickly, I think, because boraicho has been rotating over that route fairly often. And now we see a push. Yeah, pushing back, but the Solek Spit will finish the deal. 4 HP on the Solek himself, though. This is definitely not the stack you mount a comeback on. He needs some time to rebuild some of his huge stack that a heavy champion can bring. As they meet again, and he kind of goes out kind of undamaged, but the shotgun in the end finishes it off. He just was too low and he couldn't afford to stay for that fight. He needed to rotate immediately as he heard through the door there, immediately as he heard madfox going for the lower mega area. We see another fight. boraicho has all the armor and the Galena's got hit by the acid. That definitely is not helping her case, and 2 frag game now, so it's getting closer and closer as the time progresses. Nice lightning gun from boraicho there. Gets a little bit of rocket damage himself, but not all too much. madfox is definitely on the receiving end of that trade. And he's still super in danger here. He's so less stuck. boraicho can just force his way into him, and he does, and the Solek might be fast enough to punish the heavy pickup as well. He's not fast enough there, and going into close range combat should favor the Galena because of the biggest stack at this moment. Also, the rocket launcher was the only weapon that madfox had to work with, so close range was his only option as well. And boraicho did him the favor. 2 frag game again. Another engagement, but this time the stacks are kind of returned and the acid, despite the healing of the totem, keeps ticking. Good defensive rail from madfox here, and now he's kind of in the better position. Not just on the map, but stack-wise as well. He's having a little bit more armor, and those can come in deciding. Not anymore though often. boraicho picked up the light armor on the mega health. As this fight for the major item continues, and none of the players will get it at first. But madfox had enough damage dealt on boraicho already that the shotgun, or even on the long range, will finish him off. Oh, and they will meet again. Oh, probably not, because boraicho decides to not so. Oh, in the upper middle area they meet, and madfox's stack is definitely not looking too good, but the shotgun of boraicho's melting the enemy as well, but the Solek Spit will finish it off and make it a trade in the end. There's not much in terms of weaponry to fight with for both players, but I think that boraicho is a little bit more versatile when it comes to that right now. Heavies for the Galena though, and he does not want to run into close range because the shotgun will hurt the Solak very much. Use the rail to finish it off. 50 HP and he runs into the totem, and totem shotgun damage is just enough. He didn't keep the range and tried to, yeah, widen the angle to give him a safe rail shot there. And he eats the rail just before the item as well. Yeah, and keeps standing and dies once more. 5 frag lead.
Death is the only release. I will not grant you that privilege.
Looked like a little moment of tilt there from boraicho. As madfox lands another rail, but this one is answered back from madfox. The stack is not great on both players. But before that rail I was saying that madfox definitely was on the receiving end of this trade. But going for that light almost sealed his fate, and with 6 frag lead for madfox. This is going to be a huge, if not impossible, mountain to climb for boraicho if he wants to, yeah, make a comeback here. There's not much time left, 2 minutes for 6 frag on such a huge map. He definitely cannot stop to fight, and madfox is dealing so much defensive damage here that it's not going to look alike, but this frag could spell hope for boraicho, even though his stack now is very, very bad himself, and he kind of has no clue about the position of madfox either. He just hears him now, but madfox gets the major item, and with such a huge stack now, the Galena is probably not going to die 5 times anymore. Okay. Not gonna get this channel banned because some idiot spammer does stuff like this.
Noch eine Minute.
So the speed did not come out on top. Yeah. Pop. But I think that's definitely it here. The rest is just bonus we're gonna get to see.
Be healed in the power of the ancients.
Oh, but not a 12th frag so far. That's some spinning of the golden gauntlet. That is the last frag of the map, most likely. 6 to 12. And this looked a lot more commanding from madfox than map number 1. And the damage difference was huge. 2k almost. The railgun, definitely an MVP, and the rockets as well. Good job, madfox. Okay, last map is going to be DM6. And boraicho has the Nyx here. So I said he had the better matchup with the Solak against the Galena on this map. And I've been proved wrong, because madfox just hit every rail with my prediction already. So I'm just gonna say that madfox is gonna get DM6 as well. Look at those nipples. Oh, they're beautiful. So what do you think of for the last map now? Hey, let's go, boys. And girls, if girls are watching as well, I don't want to exclude you.
Bereit machen zum Kampf. Runde beginnt in 3, 2, 1, kämpft.
There we go. Boraicho gets a good spawn for a light champion, but madfox... Ah yeah, if he heard that, he could have... Now he needs to know that the heavy's not being picked. Yeah, and he knows, and they swap item, and this means that Boraicho kind of came up worse on that item swap, because as a light champion, you kind of want the heavy over the mega health. Lomax is saying Boraicho's gonna win. Yeah, I mean, I favor it by picks as well, and I've never seen madfox play DJ in general. But then again, I have not seen... I've not played madfox that often as well. Failed the nail, jump to the railgun. So he's still lacking that weapon. Which is actually, well, yeah, lacking the railgun on TM6 is like having starting machine gun on Corrupted Keep. And there we go, an aggressive ghost walk spells first blood. Boraicho gets the cake here, but the nails should be able to kill him if they hit. They don't find the target, and Boraicho uses the rocket jump to go out safely, and he reverted the timing. But madfox stole the item. He almost paid with his life for it, though. Boraicho trying to go there. The nails did so much damage. It was 22 HP, I think. He had left. That was not much to work with, and it's a 2-frag game for Boraicho already. The door frame blocked the railgun of Boraicho to... That would have been the 3rd frag there. Good rockets from the Knicks. Kind of is not slowing down the pace though. Even the stacks are more equal than not. And now he's guarding the railgun. The witch is a good play for him. Dealing some damage on... and even more damage. madfox is kind of... caught between a rock and a hard place. And the aggressive push, without the ghost walk being available, worked out for the Knicks. Some rockets, it could have been dangerous, but I mean he had the better stack in the end. Now that he's almost completely out of rockets, we'll see a setup for the next heavy. And this rail definitely spells danger. The ghost walk had to be used, and I don't think that... yeah, Boraicho's gonna stay around long enough for madfox to kill him. And he just makes it out. Collects some vials so the ghost walk has the shortest possible cooldown. But I think that madfox collected the vials in the banana, so... yeah, there won't be much more than those 20 seconds difference between the two abilities. Boraicho's doing a good job of avoiding madfox when he wants to. Not only when the ghost walk is on ready, but also when it's on cooldown. He makes it very hard for madfox to find him, reading the movement of his opponent very well. But those rockets and rail combination could have spelled the end, but the killing blow was missed by madfox. And this is the 4th frag, and this is looking very dominating and convincing so far from boraicho. Not in terms of current stack, I mean, but in terms of how he plays and how he uses his movement and his positioning to create advantages for him out of that situation. And that one rail he just landed on madfox on bridge was pretty crazy as well. I don't want to forget about that. This time he doesn't lose as much HP because madfox is missing the rails, but then he decides to go for a rocket jump, and what a direct rocket that was. Both players are not railable yet, but boraicho again denies all the light armors on the map as well. This must be so frustrating for madfox, and no matter how hard you hit, you never get a kill. And the ghost walk will be used once again. Here at the bounce pad. But this is another light armor going into the... And this... So all 3 light armors are gone, and boraicho has them in the arsenal. And he's gonna get the heavy, so there's like 15 seconds where no armor for madfox is gonna come up, and he's paying with his life for it. Pushing without any armor. There's no chance you're gonna win that fight. The light armor at mega health just spawned. That means that the other light armor and the mega health will spawn as well. And boraicho gets it, undamaged. Misses the rails though. I mean, he does not need to force kills, but keeping the enemy stack low is always a nice thing, isn't it? But now, like, Nick's looking like a tank with so much stack. Ghostwalk still ready to deploy when she needs it. This is going to be very hard to get a footing in the match for madfox, and even the comeback as well, because he needs to control all the items and the vials as well, otherwise the Ghostwalk will run out the time almost on its own. But it's still possible, I'm not calling it a GG right now. And we see a gauntlet kill. We have seen a gauntlet kill. This is the second of the series. Always on the items, always with a better stack. What can you do with your madfox here? The control that boraicho has is so huge at the moment. This is such a hard game and a hard spot to be in. He needs to, you know, dual wheel with some crazy ass damage output. Otherwise I don't see that he has a chance. He's not picking up the hourglasses. Favoring, yeah, to be not in madfox's crosshair over getting the ghost walk back in as soon as possible, and I kind of agree with that, because if he can run away for 30 seconds, he doesn't need the vials, and the ability would have been back on cooldown as well. Now it is, and a little self-damage, but not all too much. Great defensive rocket from boraicho, which did 100 damage on the bounce pad. And the 7th kill. madfox is not looking like himself right now on this map. That could have ringed out him. I'm not gonna lie. If he hit that on a high point, he could have been ring outed by that rail. Little misjudgment of the sound cue. It was the other bounce pad he took, but it doesn't matter, even though he ate the rail. At this point, he's still getting the vials he needs. So his safety net is always there for him. Just under 2 minutes left, 7 frags, even with the new spawn system, I doubt it's gonna happen. Like, the ghost walk alone will, yeah, just take away 5 more seconds, and the time it needs to chase after the use of the ghost walk as well. And then yeah, those defensive rockets that don't make your job of a comeback easy as well. And at this point, we can really say it's kind of impossible. He's trying to go for another gauntlet kill, and this almost killed him there, but in the end he managed to get this there. Oh, that was a killing blow, and madfox misses it. I mean, it wouldn't have changed anything, but madfox is gonna play another series after that, so you definitely want to get something going, and or just, yeah, get your mindset in the right place, no matter how. If it's not caring or doing something nice in this game, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, boraicho's timing everything to perfection. Those defensive rockets. A little payback of what madfox did to him on Tower of Koth, it feels like.
Now you don't.
It seems like he always has the right... makes the right decision when it comes to how he uses the Ghost Walk and what route he's gonna take. His aggressive Ghost Walks were great as well, gave him... Yeah, they were kind of the not really a turning point, but the plays that gave him the huge control he had, because he used those in a way that he could pick the items afterwards, and the vial, so he had basically maximum value out of everything. 8-0. Didn't see that. Oh. Yeah.